Hello and welcome to Talk of the Townsends. I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I'm Hannah Townsend.
And it's the most wonderful time of the year. Oscar nomination season, baby.
Santa right now watching this like,
Ho, ho, ho. Nominations for all. Well, nominations for some. Notable snubs for others.
yes, I'm sure that's what Santa's saying. As always, we'll do a brief Suki update. Suki is sat kind of under the table by the radiator.
For those of you who don't know, Suki is our 28-year-old daughter.
People get upset when we don't mention Suki, or Da, as we call her.
Danuka. By the time you're listening to this, Traitors will have finished.
Oscar news will be old news.
But if there's one thing we love on this show, it's not keeping up with the times. Look, it's not about being first. It's about having the hot take. That's what Talk of the Townsends provides. So I think everyone's been waiting with bated breath to find out what we think of the Oscar noms.
It's quite a high bar you're setting that we're going to be having some hot takes on these. Things others haven't said.
Hot takes like, Jessie Buckley, well deserved.
F1, well deserved.
Well, we'll have to talk about F1 because that is wild. Do you want to just jump in and start going through the categories?
No time like the present.
Now, obviously, there are lots of Oscar categories and we are somewhat knowledgeable about some and completely ignorant about others. So I don't know if
We're going to be going in on sound and lighting, basically, you're saying.
Listen, if there's one thing Hannah and I are, it's gaffers and grips. I always say that my favourite credit in any movie credits is Best Boy, which I think is lighting, I want to say. Key grip, also. I love key grip.
Love a key grip.
Shout out anyone who is the key grip.
Wow. Is there multiple key grips? Or is there multiple grips and only one is key?
There are multiple grips. It must suck to be like dispensable grip.
I know.
You're not key.
It's like being in the nativity play at school if you're just like angel.
The lobster.
And not like angel.
Yeah, just an angel.
An angel. Not the angel.
Not the angel Gabrielle.
Exactly.
No, Gabriel. The T stands for the Lord Baby Jesus is about to be born. That's some obscure High School Musical meme knowledge. Now, we famously did a podcast where I said that we should do all the best stuff first and save the other stuff for last. And you pointed out that that's very bad business because everyone will just switch off. To that end, would you like to start with Best Picture?
It's very wicked, all the good stuff in the first half. And as we'll see, no nom wicked.
I'll tell you what's not very wicked, these nominations. Wicked has been excluded from the Oscars for good.
No, legit, it has.
It really has. Limited. The nominations were quite limited.
They're not limited, none.
Well, severely limited. All right, shall we run through? These are the nominations for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Just give me a noise reaction to each of these. Begonia.
Yay!
Frankenstein.
Yay!
F1. Meow.
Meow.
Hamnet. Marty Supreme. I thought you might make a ping pong noise. One battle after another. Few small beers. The Secret Agent. Whatever noise means we haven't seen it. Sentimental Value. That's kind of a...
Yeah, that's another crier, isn't it?
Sinners. I want to suck.
Suck your blood.
I've got a record number of nominations. Where? Train Dreams. We should say before we begin that I think the thing that the Oscars are always hit with by the general public is that all the movies that are nominated are ones that come out right before the Oscars, which is obviously tactical. And if you live in the UK or basically anywhere but the US, we also get those movies really late. You've got like a 2-week window to see all these films. But anyway, this year we have seen the vast majority of these. Gun to your head, what would you pick for Best Picture?
Ooh.
Because there's a difference between what you would pick and what you think will win. Do you know what I mean?
I think One Battle After Another does deserve this one, simply for the pure number of different worlds it manages to capture in one film.
Yes, I think it has a lot of things going for it. I think an underrated part of it is that it is a somewhat political movie that I think is quite accurately about our time, or at least America's current time, and actually weirdly has got more correct. I didn't even realize that One Battle is meant to take place in like an alternate universe. Like all the like detention camps in the film are not real places.
Yeah.
And now they have just become a lot more real in the months since that film came out. And you know, the character of Lockjaw and all of that is meant to be like a heightened example of like police brutality, and it's all just pretty real world now. So I think, you know, in terms of picking like this was the best picture of this year, that means something.
Yeah, for me, it has so many different pictures as well. We've got like the most incredible car chase scene I've ever seen versus when, you know, Chase Infinity's character is at the convent. And that's a very different tone. Like, I really think that it's got such variety in here. And I think One Battle After Another has a variety that not all of the titles on this list has. Now, it doesn't mean they're not brilliant,
Yes.
but I think it shows kind of wonderful skill in doing such a different amount of stuff.
Absolutely. And again, we like pretty much all these films.
100%.
I wouldn't really be unhappy with most of these winning. I've got to say it now. We have to address this. F1 being nominated for Best Picture is absolutely wild. I mean, the number one reaction I've seen online to all the Oscar noms is everyone just going, F1 got Best Picture?
I know.
We saw F1. F1 was fun. The idea that that would get a Best Picture nom is ludicrous to me. I'm sorry.
It's very shocking. I watched so many of our creator friends' Oscars predictions videos. I will say no one called it. Very surprising that F1 was in there. It's a fun film. It, for me, always felt like a film that should have been released really on streaming.
Well, I mean, it was literally an Apple film.
Exactly. And it's good. It's got a lot of good things about it, but it is a very Hollywood movie versus the rest of this category. Like, there's no real twists and turns in the F1 movie.
No, it's like one of the most straightforward movies I've ever seen in my life. It's as straightforward as a racetrack. It is a
Yes.
film that is on a track.
If Hamnet is, I would say, like the ultimate Oscar kind
Yes.
of movie, F1 in comparison to Hamnet is just, I think that they are in just completely different categories.
The argument that is made is that, you know, the Oscars is all about these little arty movies that the general public hasn't even seen, right? The reason they expanded Best Picture to 10 movies is because they wanted to include things like The Dark Knight that were getting ignored. But if you want to make the argument that we need popular blockbuster movies in there, you've already nominated Sinners,
Yeah.
which is a huge commercial, critical, but a big audience hit. You also, if you're gonna put like a popcorn quote unquote film in there, nominate Avatar, Fire and Ash. That's like a big audience, you know, successful blockbuster box office movie.
Yes.
But to me is a lot more artistically interesting than F1.
Yeah. Who do you want to win Best Picture at the Oscars?
I think One Battle will be a great winner. You know, Begonia I think would be amazing. I do think if Sinners won, it would just be awesome. Firstly and foremostly, because Sinners is a brilliant movie. Like, not just a really fun movie, but it is like a very well-made movie. Every part of it is excellently crafted. It would be a deserving winner. But I also just think, like, everyone would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Critics, the industry, the public, everyone would be like, a great choice.
And who do you think will win the Oscar for Best Picture?
I think One Battle has it as a lock.
Really?
Well, I would have said One Battle has it as a lock, but the fact that Sinners has actually broken the record for nominations maybe now tells me they're going to go Sinners, which I'm happy about.
If we look at past Oscars, something that is, you know, nominated throughout basically every category, do they usually win the big one?
There's definitely been years where there's like sweeps.
A sweepstake, yeah.
You know, you get your like Titanics or whatever that absolutely sweep it. You know, Hamnet is an interesting one because I really like Hamnet, and I think it's slightly being painted as like a kind of almost roll your eyes Oscar movie because it's very emotive and it's about Shakespeare. And I actually think it's quite a creative and like not a very stodgy movie. I think
Yes.
it's like artistic and interesting and slightly weird in a way I really like. And I think it could win Best Picture, but I think if it does, if like Hamnet won over like Sinners or One Battle, I think people would see that as like, oh, the Oscars picked an Oscar-y movie rather than a more quote unquote interesting choice, which isn't really fair to Hamnet, but I think that's how the public would see it.
I agree with that, but I also do agree with that Oscars usually has a little formula that it tends to enjoy and go for. For example, Chase Infinity not being nominated, I think that is because of her age and because this is her first role, where I think she deserved a nomination.
Well, with that, shall we roll into that category?
Let's roll into that category.
So for Best Actress, you've got Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, who is going to win. Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Cool nomination for a very good performance. Kate Hudson in Song Sung Blue. Now, we've not seen Song Sung Blue, but it seems like kind of a fun ride, but maybe she puts in a crazy good performance.
It looks like quite a commercial movie. It looks like a fun movie.
Renata Reinsve for Sentimental Value. I mean, she's almost incapable of not being amazing in a movie.
She's fantastic.
She's so good in Sentimental Value. And then Emma Stone for Begonia, which is so funny because I don't think she has campaigned at all. You know, part of the Oscars is you kind of have to like pitch for it.
Yeah.
And she already has, what, 2 Best Best Actress Oscars. I think she rightly is like, I'm going to step back and let someone else have it. And then unfortunately, she's just so good in Begonia that I think everyone's like, no, nominate her.
Yeah.
And I think it is deserved.
I agree. I think that is totally deserved. I think Jessie Buckley is the clear winner.
She's won like all the precursors, the other awards. I think, to be fair, I think Rose Byrne has got one or two for If I Had Legs, because it is a great performance. I think this is Jessie Buckley's. I would have loved to have seen Chase Infinity in there.
I agree.
I agree, though, that I think because she's so young and because I think it was her very first
Feature film.
ever.
Yeah.
I think the Academy sometimes has this logic, which isn't very fair, but like, she's got time.
Yes.
She will be nominated later.
Yeah.
There's a lot with the Oscars of like, it's someone's turn.
100%. Well, it's like Leo, where everyone was like, was that the film that he should have finally got the Oscar for?
Exactly.
And that people were kind of like, no, kind of not. But it had we'd just been waiting for such a long time for him to, one of my favorite Catherine Moran jokes is when she used to have a joke that was like, Leonardo DiCaprio, we both have the same number of Oscars, when he didn't have an Oscar. Like, it was just too long overdue for him to not get that Oscar.
It is funny when you look back at people who win quote unquote career Oscars, because it is always for the randomest movies.
Yeah.
I remember when Sandra Bullock, I think she won an Oscar for The Blind Side, which is a movie I really despise. I think that's such a weird, kind of nasty movie. And they were like, no, but I'm sorry, Sandra, you could have an Oscar. We've clearly done you dirty here.
Yes. Sentimental Value is an interesting one because I think the film is beautiful and has the sum of all of its parts are brilliant. Like, she is brilliant in it.
Stellan is brilliant.
Yes. It looks beautiful. That opening montage is Oscar worthy in itself.
Yes.
Do I think it amounts to something that says enough? No, in my opinion.
Yeah, my hottest take of the season is that despite myself and despite everything I was being offered, there was a point about halfway through Sentimental Value where I was like, oh God, I think I'm a bit bored. And I almost felt really disappointed with myself because I like everyone involved. I like everything that was kind of happening. And yet I was like, I just don't feel very compelled by this.
Yeah, and also, you're not someone, because I hate whenever people are kind of our age say that we're bored in anything. Everyone's like, well, you've got no attention span, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not someone who doesn't have a good attention span. You absolutely do.
Yeah.
But if something's not, and it pains me to say like entertains me, because I think then people think we don't enjoy films where nothing happens, which we do.
Yes, to be clear, I love a slow film. I love a film where almost nothing happens. One of my favorite films, I always talk about it, Quiet Girl, an Irish movie where almost nothing happens. Like, I'm into that. I like character pieces. I like people in rooms being sad. I don't know, whatever came together in this movie about people in rooms being sad, I was just like, I don't know if I'm fully into this, which is a shame. But I do think all the performances are basically unimpeachable.
Totally. That said, Jessie Buckley was she from How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria?
Yeah.
Do you remember the show How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria?
I never watched it at the time, but as a concept, it's great.
And they would all sing on the way out. Was it So Long Farewell for this one?
That would make sense.
That would make sense. After they'd been voted out, they would then have to get up on stage in front of like Andrew Lloyd Webber, sing a song, and they weren't getting the part as Maria in the West End stage. I mean, what a crazy show. And they also kept that format. We saw it in so many different shows. They just were like, what if we did this one?
Yeah.
Did Jessie Buckley, where did she come in that show? Was it second?
I feel like she didn't win.
Was she not Maria? She didn't solve the problem.
Wasn't she in the Oliver Twist one or something? Or was she Maria?
Jessie Buckley was runner-up in the 2008 talent show I'd Do Anything.
Yeah, Oliver.
She was in the Oliver one.
She was going for Nancy.
Nancy.
Now, someone who wasn't nominated, interestingly, was her castmate, Paul Mescal. He was not nominated for Hamnet. I'll tell you who was nominated for Best Actor. A little character called Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet. I don't know if you've heard of him, for Marty Supreme. Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, which I think is like, if anything, an underrated performance. I think what Leo does in that film is kind of amazing. Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Do you think he would get 2 Oscars for that? And then Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Big fan of his. Obviously, a lot of people know him for playing Escobar, but he is so good in Civil War. I'm always like, damn, that was a good performance. Now, no Paul Mescal. What do you think about that?
I love Paul Mescal. I don't know if he should have got an Oscar for this part.
I guess arguably it would have been a supporting role anyway.
That's how I view it. I don't know if just like Jessie Buckley was just so captivating when she was on screen. She was just a bit of a scene stealer. And actually, if his part had been isolated a little bit more, because he was essentially always on screen when she was on screen, right?
Yeah, I think he actually does good work, but I think by nature the role is a very supporting role.
Exactly.
He's
When
never...
you compare it to Timothée
Yes.
Chalamet, it's a much quieter role than that, right?
Yeah, I guess he would have been nominated in supporting, but I think again, it's like good acting doesn't always look like what good acting is in people's minds. And like sometimes the ability to step back and kind of let someone else shine is good acting.
Agreed.
I guess. I think Timothy is probably going to win for Marty Supreme. That being said, the Academy, I learned recently, has a weird thing about it doesn't like giving lead actor Oscars to young men. It will give lead actor Oscars to young women, but the youngest ever Best Actor winner was Adrian Brody, and he was 29. He was younger than Timothée Chalamet is now. Timothée Chalamet would be the second youngest man to ever win this Oscar.
How old's Timothée Chalamet? 29?
He's like 29 and a half.
Got it.
Generally speaking, it's a bit like the career thing. They like men to be a bit older. You think about Leo, how long they made Leo wait
Yeah.
when he was putting in Oscar-worthy performances. So the only thing going against Timothy is that he might be too young in the eyes of the Academy.
I think it's a point, but he still would be older. So it's not as if he's like a 22-year-old going up for this. Which, to be honest, might be why Chase Infinity wasn't nominated in any of her categories. She was seen as too young. If Timmy doesn't win it, who do you think will win?
I think they would then give it to Michael B. Jordan.
Do you think?
And by the way, I'm only saying Timmy because one, it's an incredible performance, but also he's again been winning all the lead up awards. The buzz is around that performance. I think he's campaigning quite heavily for it.
The buzz is around this movie and specifically that performance. Because if you think about when Marty Supreme came out versus when Sinners came out, I mean, there is still buzz around Sinners.
Yeah.
But Sinners came out so long ago now. Is the momentum there for Timothy now to win?
True. But then also we might have a surprise of, Wagner might win. A lot of positive buzz around him. Or they'll do an Oscars and be like, Ethan Hawke has won for Blue Moon, this movie that very few people have managed to see yet because it just came out, which is a very Oscars thing to do.
Then I kind of don't hate it when that happens though, because then it like gives the movie a huge boost. It gets people out. Like you see the ticket sales go up. So I kind of actually don't hate that when that happens.
Yeah, you think last year with Anora, right? Which was such a small film, and then it got this huge lift. Anora swept.
And Anora was brilliant. And I think more people obviously saw it.
Yes.
Based on the fact that it won the big Oscar.
I just don't think they're going to give Leo another Oscar.
Do you not think?
For this one. I think they have a real aversion to repeat Oscars.
Emma Stone?
Unless you're Emma Stone or Tom Hanks. And then they're like, we've got to just keep giving them Oscars because they are so good.
So then do you think Hamnet won't get Best Director?
No.
Really?
Because Chloe Zhao already has a Best Director. And she won it kind of recently. I don't think they're like doing repeats that fast. Because again, I think the voters are also thinking in terms of like, we've got to keep the Oscars interesting. We've got to keep them relevant,
I think she's a great choice though.
Well, let's talk about Best Director then. Let's talk about Best Director. You've got Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another.
PTA.
A beloved director who has never won Best Director.
Oh, give him a little Oscar.
I know.
He's never won.
No. I don't think he's even ever been nominated. Let me Google
Big
this.
day for PTA. Parent Teacher Association.
Sorry, I take that back. He's been nominated 14 times. But he's never won. He's like very notably never won for someone who is kind of one of our greatest filmmakers.
Is it not his time in the sun?
Absolutely. And it's like, this is maybe the best film he's ever made. It is a bit like, if you're not going to give him one now, what are you doing?
It must be so disheartening to think like, to keep going, think this is now my best work, and then just not get one.
Because if he doesn't win it for this, it's like, I'm not going to make There Will Be Blood 2. Like, come on now. There will be more blood. Ryan Coogler for Sinners would be a cool win.
That's tough. That's a great film.
Because also that is a film that has like notably good direction.
Yeah.
It's a very well-directed, interesting film. Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. I mean, you said it yourself, the opening of that film with the house could win Best Short Film in itself. That's a gorgeous movie.
Yeah, 100%.
And then Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. But like I said, she just won Best Director like 2 or 3 years ago, so...
Yeah, but I do think that is like an Oscar-worthy directing performance.
Yeah.
Direction.
And, it's not like the Oscars have a very good track record of giving women Best Director. So it wouldn't hurt them to...
Honestly, yeah. That's kind of part of why, I think that it's a very worthy winner, but also I always love when, one, women are nominated.
Yes.
At the very least, and two, when they actually win.
Should we do the supporting actors and actresses?
Yeah.
So in supporting actress, we've got Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value. We have Inga Ibsdotter Lilias for Sentimental Value. Amy Madigan for Weapons. Wunmi Masaku for Sinners. Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Pretty stacked.
As you're going down the list, I'm like, that one, that one, that one. Like Weapons, I love the idea of her winning. However, Tiana Taylor for One Battle, I also love the idea of her winning.
I heard it said that the interesting thing between those two is that both of them are not in the movie fully, right? So Tiana's in the beginning of the movie and then kind of disappears. Amy Madigan shows up at the end of Weapons. But who sticks more in the audience's mind just because of that placement? Maybe Amy Madigan, because she is the finale of the movie.
Yeah.
And maybe that works in her favor because Tiana puts in such an amazing performance, but then the rest of the movie is sort of about her, but she's not physically there. But that being said, I would love the Academy Awards to give like a big acting trophy to a horror movie.
Yes.
I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
They've done it once or twice, but like, I think it'd be sick.
It is also just such a standout, crazy performance
Yeah.
that I'm with you. I mean, I love it when horror gets nominated, when horror wins anything. It's very much a forgotten category a lot of the time in terms of like prestige.
It's very underrespected, I think, especially when 25 was a really good year for horror. I mean, that's another nice thing about Sinners getting all these nominations is that something horror, I don't know if I would call Sinners a full horror movie, but it's pretty horrific, is getting like prestige. I think that's really cool. Look, either Elle or Inga for Sentimental Value is a worthy win, but for me, Amy Madigan, I would like to win just because I just think that's such an interesting left field choice. Best Supporting Actor, now this is pretty stacked. Benicio del Toro for One Small Beer After Another. Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein.
Nice.
Actually, for Frankenstein's Monster. Delroy Lindo for Sinners. And that would also be a very cool career Oscar. Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. That's tough.
Do you know what? In my mind, it's actually not. They're all incredible performances. Sean Penn
Yeah.
for One Battle After Another, for me, takes that crown.
Yeah, I think if Sean Penn wasn't in the film, Benicio would have such a good... Because Benicio is so good in that movie.
Definitely.
He's like... I don't know, the heart of that movie. Jacob Elordi, I think, again, they'll go, he's got time. I think that's what the Academy will say. Delroy Lindo is amazing in Sinners. Stellan Skarsgård, both of them, that would be such a, like, you are an amazing actor who's been doing good work for so long. We want to reward that.
Has Sean Penn ever won an Oscar?
He has. That's the thing. Sean Penn has 2 Academy Awards, both for Best Actor.
Ooh.
Okay, so the usual conventional wisdom we've been talking about of, like, you've got enough Oscars would apply. That being said, this performance is so undeniable and has been so discussed. It was like the number one thing people were talking about coming out of One Battle, which is a movie stuffed with like fascinating things and performances. And the number one thing everyone was saying was he's going to win the Oscar.
Those arm veins deserve an Oscar. I want to see him at the Oscars having a cigarette at the table with a little gong next to him.
There's like every photo of him. There was a photo of him and the rest of the cast, and someone was like, it looks like he's just like a grenade has just exploded in his hand because his hair's always just like poofed up. He's such a character, but like that performance is because it's such a huge performance, and yet he makes it work. He makes it funny. He makes it really scary. It's so iconic. I think he probably will win. But I wouldn't be unhappy with any of the others, to be honest.
F1 getting an Oscar nomination has hit the headlines. What films do you think should have been nominated for an Oscar that weren't?
I think it's kind of wild that Sorry Baby seems to have been broadly ignored. I mean, I think the performances are incredible. If you're going to give F1 a Best Picture nom, give Sorry Baby a Best Picture nom. I'm serious. Or at least a screenplay nom. It's crazy to me it didn't get any kind of writing acknowledgement.
I'm surprised The Long Walk didn't get anything, at least from a technical point of view.
Yeah, I think the performances were great. I think it looked really good. But yeah, the way they filmed it must have been so complicated, so technical, and I think it's very propulsive. I'm kind of stunned that was sort of ignored.
I actually think Weapons should have got more nominations.
Absolutely. I mean, even maybe like a special effects nom or a hair and makeup, if you want to go down that road. But I also just think, screw it, original screenplay. Why not? That was a very original screenplay that had people, absolutely gripped. Why not?
28 Years Later also didn't get anything. Now, I think The Bone Temple will get nominations next year. I'm sad to see that this one didn't get anything.
I agree. I think we'll see a Ralph Fiennes nomination next year at the very least for Bone Temple. But it's crazy to me that 28 Years Later didn't get like a soundtrack nomination. The music is incredible in 28 Years. Maybe a director nom or a cinematography nom, an acting nom. I mean, actually, it's kind of stunning that it was broadly ignored. It's a very good film.
Your favourite Superman got snubbed.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little respect usually for the superhero films at these things, but I could have maybe seen Superman getting a little something somewhere.
I'm not that surprised, but we obviously did love it, so...
There's a few notable snubs. Die My Love.
Do you know what? I think Die My Love actually did deserve some recognition.
I think Jennifer Lawrence, I mean, that performance, however you feel about that film, I was kind of mixed on it, but I think that performance is pretty undeniable. And it seems like the kind of thing the Academy would love. It's so much acting in a good way.
Wicked got snubbed. It got absolutely nothing. I'm not super surprised it didn't get loads. I thought it might get one. A little...
I thought it might get at it like a production design.
Yeah.
I saw people really like stunned that like Ariana didn't get a nomination, but like you're nominating her for playing the same role in basically the same movie a year after getting, you know what I mean? It's like, it's very unusual.
Yes.
And look, I think the attitude from the Academy is like, we heavily nominated the better part last year.
Yeah.
And that was your reward.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good reward. And like, you know, people broadly don't seem to like part 2 as much. I like that Weapons has had a bit of a nod. I still think horror has a way to go to be properly acknowledged. I mean, Bring Her Back.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see like a little Bring Her Back make it in there. Maybe a Sally Hawkins.
I guess we're saying this. I mean, Sinners is the most, it's
Yeah.
a horror and it is the most nominated
Film ever.
film ever. So maybe we just need to take that with a pinch. But I agree. I think, you know.
Yeah, we've got to take that win, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then the two other sort of snubs are Materialists and Eddington. 2 films that we went into the year going like, maybe those will be big films. And then
I'm sad Materialist. I ride or die for Materialist. So I'm sad that it didn't get nominated. I'm not that surprised.
because I guess like what nom would it have got?
Yeah.
Original screenplay, I guess.
And that brings us to the end of the podcast.
Yes, obviously there's loads of categories. We've tried to cover as much as we can, but let us know your thoughts about the Oscar noms in the comments down below. It is, of course, the most important thing in the world, and we should all get very angry and annoyed about it and start really attacking each other.
I want to hear everyone's most mid opinion and their most extreme opinion.
Yeah, I want to know everyone's most unhinged opinion.
About the Oscar noms.
Zootopia 2 Best Picture when?
Hey, there will be people writing. I mean, it's a good film. It did get a nom.
I mean, the Wicked for Good stands are getting a little wild of like, it should have got Best Picture. I mean, come on now. It's not even the best Wicked movie. I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I've been Hannah Townsend.
And the winner is... Goodbye.